Can you imagine giving up the life you know to be with the person you love?
Yeah, I've given up something for love.
That was a difficult question.
Altså, det var et håpløst spørsmål.
I have, yes. But that's a secret.
Don't worry, this is a film about Norwegian boat building. But like almost everything in this world, it begins with a love story. My great-great-grandmother, Lydia, was born in Hemnes, Norway. She came from a poor family, so they sent her away to be a servant girl. Meanwhile, my great-great-grandfather, John B. Johnson, was from Nesna, Norway, here on the coast. He came from a successful fishing family, building boats in the Norwegian tradition. John fell in love with Lydia, but their family didn't approve of it.
If you flirted with somebody outside your class, no, that wasn't good at all.
But John didn't let that get in the way. He immigrated to Minnesota in 1884, and he started farming near Lake Coronis. In 1888, he sent for Lydia, and he married her. That's why I'm here today. I was curious, what kind of life did John of the boat-building Johnsons leave behind when he immigrated to Minnesota? Most Norwegian immigrants left for a better life. John already had a good life. He left for love.
Say, here we are in the Ford Transit. We're journeying right now. We're waiting in line for the ferry. We can't wait. We're so excited. We've got me, Chris behind the lens, Olaf driving, Dana riding.
That's me, tired after a 12-hour flight from Minnesota and 90 minutes more by car and ferry. We're on our way to meet some Norwegians who are building boats in the same way my great-great-grandfather did.
I'm Bjorn Reitan. I am a boat builder apprentice at the Coastal Heritage Museum. I'm here to learn how to build boats in the traditional way of this area. This is our fine wood shop. We have some classes sometimes, and we also have some of our tools. This is a finished one, ready for delivery. Hvor lang tid tar det å bygge en feiring da? 200 hours, 2 guys. So at the museum we have an exhibit and storage of old boats and fishing gear and boat builder tools, and this boat buildery has always been a part of the museum. So Norway has a huge variation of boats all throughout the country, and even inside one region you can have several kinds of boats, and every boat is unique. We build Åfjords boats, a kind of boat that's for rowing and sailing and is used for fishing and transportation of goods, transportation of people, and has a very wide range of sizes. We build them for private individuals that are ordering them.
This boat building tradition almost died out in the 1980s. There was only one man who was using this kind of tradition to build this specific types of boat. Our boat builder, Einar Borgfjord, was his apprentice.
When I started to build the Åfjordsbåt, I learned this kind of boat building from Johan Hårstad. And he was 72 years when we built the first boat. And we built 4 boats together before he died.
So it was that bad that it was one man who used this real old tradition.
So it came really close to being gone.
Yeah, it was very, very close. So.
Here we have the boat builder, Einar, and the Norwegian king and queen, a lot younger Einar. Here you can see slightly older but still young, and the queen and the king of Norway. So they have been here 2 times. We are very proud of that. Luckily, yeah, we had Einar, and we can see the results of his work. He has had many apprentices.
We have 23 apprentices.
It's not like going to a school. You can't read the book to build these boats. It's all hands-on, pretty much. You have to feel it and see it. We start by laying the keel, put on extensions from the keel, and onto them we put the stems. Then we make ready the garboards for the boats. We plane down the upper side so that it has the lines that we want. We use sticks to push the boards out and clamps to bring them back in. We put the frames in, which are naturally grown branches of spruce and pine. We bring them together either with iron nails and ropes or wooden pegs and wedges. Put in the seats, make the oars, the rig, mast, yard, paint it, tar it, and then we send it off.
Would you give up boat making for love?
Ja, litt av temaet til dokumentaren er kjærlighet. Så spørsmålet er om du hadde sluttet med båtbygging for kjærligheten.
For my passion, to give up my passion for love. No, I don't think so. Maybe.
I don't know, it's hard to say. I guess you have to be in the situation.
Would you give up boat making for love?
I think that would be the right thing to do.
Nå fikk jo jeg kone som er konservator på museet og liker båtbygging. Så sånn sett så er det ikke et spørsmål jeg trenger å ta noe stilling til.
That's a good answer. We traveled another 4 hours north to meet one of Norway's last traditional sail makers.
Sailcloth from wool. All is handmade, so all is make same 1,000 years ago. Yeah. Nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Does it naturally repel water too?
Yeah, they take fat from the ship and into the wool. My name is Frode Bjørø. I live in island Gjøa in the middle of Norway, and here we make a sail of traditional boats in Norway. The ship is so it's the biggest Viking ship in modern. Yeah. There's a book about the building. There was 10 boat builder. They have make the ship, and we have make a sail from silk. Here's the silk.
That's what she made.
It's very strong. Silk is very strong.
Wow.
This come from India. Very much work.
A lot of details with the holes and My name is Margreet Sloot. It's a Dutch name. Yeah. I'm the wife of Frode Bjørø. He is a sailmaker, and I'm married with him. When I came here, I couldn't do that work, but I learned a lot, and I'm doing with all kind of sailmaking. I was like we say in Norwegian, like a potato. You can use it for everything. So I helped with all kind of things. This is cotton. The idea is the same. So here is the mast from the boat. It fastens here. And here up, stop. Oh. And the rope around, it should be too short. Because if you want to sail, you have the bow in the sail. You can't sail with a flat sail. You have to have the bow.
So when I sailing, I take some little bit more fabric than the rope. Little bit.
Sure. It's how you see the sail is boat and boat that also, but this is just wood. And then when the wind is coming, it's a longer way to go here.
So if I blowing here, it's coming up. Yeah. And this is a principle for sailing too.
That's why the sail has to have this form.
Yeah, this is sail out of
Ja.
yeah.
I went to Norway when I was 20 years, and then I moved to Gjøa in '83, and then we start with this company. Because our farm we live on, it was too small, so we had to do something else, so we start with the sailmaking. Yeah. My husband is, I think, the only sailmaker in Norway who really understands about the square sails for the traditional Viking boats.
My life, working life is with sailmaking. So we try to make it like the same method from Viking age.
To work with all our problems in the world, the challenges, you have to know what your roots, what you come from, before you can start with the future. And the handicrafts is a very important part of it.
Do you sail then?
Sail? Yeah.
It's not enough to put the old boats on the museum. Somebody must build new boats like the olds and use them.
I'm making a sail. I am going to sail with the sail after, so I can see what the sail is, and maybe next I can make it a little bit better.
Would you give up sailmaking for love?
Ja, det var så säger I think I can combination. Yeah.
You can have them both. You can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
The halfway point to our journey brought us to Nesna, my great-great-grandfather's home. It's a beautiful city, but seeing the church at the center of town put me in an existential mood. So this is the church where my great-great-grandparents met. They were also baptized and confirmed. They came from different social classes. And maybe if it hadn't been against the rules, they possibly would have been married in this church. And we can't get inside, it's locked. What if my ancestors had felt welcome to stay in Norway? What if I'd been born here? There was a fish down there, I just saw it.
Oh, there's one down here.
He's been nibbling at it like real hard for a while. But it's gone now. Dude, I almost caught a fish. It was a big one too.
But what happened instead was way more rewarding.
I'm not entirely sure what that means, but it's a metaphor for something. The next day we crossed the Arctic Circle to meet another boat builder.
My name is Ulf Mikkelsen. I am specialized in building this Norlandsbåt mostly. These are the traditional boats from my region and for northern Norway. This boat is built specially for fishing outside the Lofot Island along the Northern Coast. And we got it as a gift from a friend of mine, but I had just restored it and we launched it yesterday and had to take it up again today because I forgot some nails and there was some spring water coming in all directions.
Og kanskje her?
Det var bra du stilte opp. Kjempefint.
Ikke helt. Yeah, I'm Stephanie Hein. I'm coming from Germany. I'm here working with Ulf Mikkelsen. It's a very nice job with a wooden boat here, and it's fun to work with Ulf. So I have 2 years more, then I'm ready.
Do you think it's important to pass this down to the next generation?
Yes, but on the same time, I know that it's very hard. You can't live it anymore. So you have to have something else to make money on. You have to combine it with some carpenter work or something that gives just cash in a short time. The market is very narrow. Not many are ordering boats like this. Still, I found it important to deliver the tradition to a new generation. We are in northern Norway just 5 or 6 persons who know how to do it today. To lose this tradition, this understanding, will be, I think, very, very sad.
So, my great-great-grandfather, he left Norway for love. Could you give up anything in your life for love?
Well, no, the opposite, in fact. I gave up my love for coming to Kjerringøy too. So I was early married, but not that happy together. So when I got the opportunity to start working at the museum here, she wasn't that eager to follow. I think I go to Kjerringøy and start working here, and you can keep the house in Kabelvåg and live your life there, so we divorced. So it was the opposite way around.
So you wouldn't give up boat building for anything?
No, I don't think so. So my new wife was the one I've been together with for almost 40 years now.
She helps you though, right? She helps paint and...
Yeah, she painted boats and she is a very skillful dealing with ceramics and a potter. And so she really understands why I get so fascinated by boat building.
Maybe you guys can talk like we're not here. Like, it doesn't matter what you say, we won't use the audio, but... So, my great-great-grandfather from Nesna likely had a boat like this.
I'm quite sure of it. If you lived on Nesna, there were a lot of boats like this in different sizes. And the history of northern Norway in the 18th century, I know a deal about. Fishing was very important then as now. In fact, for a period in the Middle Age, the fishery of Lofoten, so the cod fishing in Lofoten, was the highest income for the state Norway. So most people that could was dealing with fishing.
Our final stop in my journey of ancestral self-discovery is in Lofoten Islands, where my great-great-grandfather fished every winter. Today, we're visiting a stockfish factory and a stockfish museum. That's where I met Hannah. Could she be an alternate version of me if my great-great-grandparents had stayed in Norway?
Oh God, that was not a question. My great-grandfather bought a fish factory from his father-in-law. So he started in 1874. So we are now the 5th generation, my brother and I. My father also works here, he's the 4th generation, working with the fish factory and the stockfish. We started cutting fish tanks when we were around 7, 8 years old to earn some money for ourselves. It's a hard work, very hard. It's cold, long hours.
Do you think that's interesting or unique to be living the same life your ancestors from the 1800s were living?
Oh, if I could go back to see how my grandparents lived in the end of 1800, I really would like to. And the hanging process of the fish is the same, but we don't use horses anymore. We have tractors to take it out and take it in.
Yeah, stockfish is a fish that are being landed in the winter, because you must only hang up fish in the winter to be sure to get prime quality fish. And stockfish, that means they're hanging over a stick, a stock, a rack. You can also say you can store it, stock it. On the Lofoten you could maybe store them for 10 years. But I've tried to beat with a hammer and eat it dry, a fish that was 11 years of age. Fantastic. So the Vikings brought the fish along when they went on their rides around Europe. So I have restored this building to show the tourists and to tell them a little bit about our culture, because this culture is very, very special. So that was the only thing we had. It was fishing. And when you grew up, you had 2 choices: being a fisherman or working in a landing station, preparing the fish for salted fish and dried fish and fresh fish and so on.
Have you ever left something behind for something that you love? Or
Me?
someone you love? Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Would you?
Yes, of course. Yeah, I'm stuck here. I'm stuck here, but I don't know. I want to, I hope our younger son will take over this business, because my business now is only tourism.
Yeah.
But I've been dealing with fish from 73.
Have you ever had to give up something you loved?
Yes, to move back, of course, I lived in some big cities, and then we moved back here for 3.5 years ago. So now I live here with my partner and our son and a dog. And our dog, his name is Bremer. It's one of the nicest stockfish sortations. So it's named after a stockfish. the dog, though, not the kid. Yeah. You never know before the stockfish inside the house what kind of quality it is. And we have the same mentality in life. You kind of just need to go with the flow and you see what happens. You have to take risks. That's what life is about.
When my ancestors emigrated to Minnesota, they gained their freedom. But they lost more than I ever imagined. Building boats, fishing, their entire way of life. I didn't truly understand until I came to Norway how important the sea is to them.
I think it's important that we preserve this tradition because it's a part of our history, and it also shaped the coastal communities as they are right now. There's still some traces of the history left in where towns are and where the churches are and such like that.
In the whole Norway, we are only 5 million people, and we are living all around the whole coastline in Norway. The sea was the main road.
Norway is a society built on boats. We couldn't live here without the boats.
When the boat is finished, I normally have a very good feeling, but I'm even happier when somebody buys it and start to use it.
I think about boats like every day. I dream about boats, so I find it would be weird to not do boat building.
1, 2, 3, 4.